El Paso Holocaust Museum and Study Center was founded in 1984 by Holocaust survivor Henry Kellen, and we have really taken on this mission to educate the area about the Holocaust and about its relevancy today. My name is Jami Flores. I'm the Executive Director of El Paso Holocaust Museum and Study Center. I've been with the museum for the last 12 years. Henry and the other Holocaust survivors here taught me so much about resiliency and strength and hope, and really imparted this legacy here at the museum, and a great responsibility to carry on their stories and that of their families. Henry and his wife and his nephew were the only survivors in their entire family. They survived in the country of Lithuania thanks to the generosity and bravery of a Christian Lithuanian farmer who hid the three of them along with 5 others in a hole that he had dug out under the floorboards of his barn. Once liberation occurred and Henry and his family were freed, they came here to the United States, actually here to El Paso because his wife had a cousin here. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, there was a surge of Holocaust denial. And so Henry, in response to that, knew that he needed to bring Holocaust education to this area, that he owed it to his family and to the 6 million other victims of the Holocaust. So in 1984, he started this museum as a one-room display in the Jewish Community Center on the west side of El Paso. And eventually, he took over much more of the space, and it became the first freestanding museum in 1996. But in 2001, that location burned due to an electrical fire. So this location downtown opened in 2008. Thanks to the generosity of this amazing community, they were able to start again. And we've been here ever since, and now celebrated our 36th year anniversary in 2020.
It is extremely important for El Paso and the entire world, as a matter of fact, to keep the El Paso Holocaust Museum and other Holocaust museums across the world open. People need to remember that people sometimes tend to forget that these events in our history that are so important aren't repeated. And so by having a museum honoring the people who were directly and indirectly involved in the Holocaust, it's extremely important for so many reasons, keeping the memory of these people alive and making sure this never happens again in this world.
It has really been a great responsibility and a great honor to carry on their stories, because as we all hear over and over again, if you don't learn history, you're doomed to repeat it. And we know that we have repeated it, and we continue to repeat history. So the museum has really taken on this mission to not only educate, but to take that history and use it as a lens to see contemporary issues. And there is such relevancy today. We still have anti-Semitism. We have such division across racial lines, across religious lines, those who are persecuted and oppressed just because of who they are. And we know from studying the Holocaust where hatred leads when it's unchecked, when people don't stand up for what they know is right. And so that's part of the museum's mission, is to look at these very contemporary, very important issues today through the lens of history, and to help to draw those connections and hopefully to make change.
This museum is extremely important on a personal level for myself. As a Jewish American, the Holocaust has affected the Jewish people significantly and severely. As a young boy, a high school kid, I traveled to Europe and seen some of the concentration camps myself, and tried to experience the utter horror. And I think it's extremely important that we as a society do not forget, so history does not repeat itself.
The El Paso community, as far as I've ever been here, has been incredibly welcoming to the museum as a whole. Not only the Jewish community, but the non-Jewish community as well. And we do also, on the other side of it, we have this connection to the military part of World War II and the Holocaust. Because of Fort Bliss, we had a large number of liberators who made their home here, were actually from El Paso before being shipped off. So there's that connection as well, that still, people are still discovering that history from their grandfathers who served, and that has been a really rich thing to happen in our area. The community here has always supported and rallied behind us and continues to do so to this day.
I have personally known several of the great people on the Holocaust survivors wall here that are from El Paso and lived in El Paso. Henry Kellen, David Kaplan, and many, many others I have personally known, and we need to honor the survivors and honor the people who were killed in the Holocaust. I remember taking my children to the museum on field trips here when they were youngsters, and making sure that they understood the importance of the Holocaust Museum. People who haven't been to the Holocaust Museum will learn a great deal of the sad history that was involved in the Holocaust. It's unimaginable in today's world that this actually took place less than 100 years ago. And I think people will come back with a sense of, wow, the Holocaust was really, what people said it was, and it wasn't just something that was elaborated on by survivors or Jewish people. And it's real, and we cannot let this ever happen again.
Here at the museum, we talk so much about a very dark and very difficult history, but our museum ends on this very uplifting note in our survivor gallery, where we highlight the stories of strength and resiliency and hope that survivors gave to us. And in that room, we also talk about the importance of being empowered to be an upstander. For every visitor who walks through here, every program that we do, this giving campaign that we just started called Defenders of Justice, it's all about empowering the individual to make a difference, that each person has a role to play. We each have a responsibility to stand up against injustice today, to stand up for others, to use our voice to be an ally for someone else. We try to end the museum on that positive note of every person can make that difference. Hatred and racism and anti-Semitism do not have to be part of our world.
Really appreciate all your hard work at the museum. This is a wonderful place to visit and so important in today's world. And thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your support of our organization, all the work that you're doing in the community, and for helping us to be part of it. It really means a great deal to us.
Oh, thank you so much. On behalf of Pay It Forward and the law offices of Michael Gopin, we wanted to present you guys with a check to the Holocaust Museum.
Thank you so much.
I know it's so hard in these difficult COVID times to be running a museum, but
Yes.
we do appreciate you. And
Thank you. This means a great deal to us. It'll mean a great deal to our education and our outreach programs that we're still working on, so thank you. We were very surprised, and it means a great deal to us. We love being part of the El Paso community, and we are always trying to get our programs out and to do more in the community, and to see that really reciprocated meant a great deal to us. These are really challenging times for everyone. We are a nonprofit museum. We're closed right now because of COVID-19. So that's difficult, as it is for everyone else. So this came at such a perfect time for us, and it meant a great deal to have our mission and our place in the community really highlighted, and we are so grateful and thankful to be part of this program. Pay It Forward is an amazing program that's been put forward by Michael Gopin and with KFOX. It really does a great deal for the community, for individuals, for organizations, and to be part of that is wonderful for the museum.